Good morning, Freedom fans. Hello, it's Catherine. I am back on the Sugar Freedom channel with my 12-week update on my 12-week carnivore challenge. I have got a book I want to recommend. I've got my notes. So I'm going to do this video to kind of practice and rehearse, and then I'm going to make the more permanent video later. So thank you for being here with me so I can do my rehearsal. You may know that one of the reasons the struggle with my weight has been so important to me is because of my love of doing theater, acting, singing, and dancing. And we have a saying in the theater, no rehearsal, no show. So this is the rehearsal, and then, well, let's get to it, because I know that you are here because you're curious about going carnivore. What's it like? What happens? What can you expect? So I want to begin with the old saying that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Well, I also believe that imitation is the fastest form of learning. So I figured out how to go carnivore by imitating people who had already done it. So I want to shout out to 3 people that I imitated. Dr. Sean Baker, that's how I originally found out about carnivore in March of 2018. Michaela Peterson, who has a channel here on YouTube, and I really learned a lot from her struggle and what she did and how it helped to heal autoimmune issues that she'd had ever since childhood. I have had issues with insulin resistance since childhood, which the evidence was eczema when I was just like 3 years old. Very important. The insulin resistance had already started when I was a little kid. And then, of course, Michael Anthony, whose channel on YouTube check him out. Michael Anthony just has this wonderful, warm, wonderful way of communicating. And people have said, are you an actor? Do you do voiceover? But I just really have loved listening to Michael Anthony and just being part of his carnivore journey and saying, hey, you know what? If he can do it, I think maybe I can too. Just a note, this is a demonstration, not a recommendation. I'm just sharing my experience going carnivore or going keto. It's serious business. So if you're going to do that, please talk to your doctor for your safety, and also because we want our doctors to know what we're doing, and we want them to know that it works so that they can then do more research and bring that into the medical world so that more people can be helped. All right, let's get to it. So how did I go carnivore? What did I eat, and what experience did I have? And so I do want to talk about the most important book that I read, not by Brett alone, by Wilhelmur Stefansson. If you're gonna go carnivore, you owe it to yourself to get this book. It was written back in the 40s. The experiment was done back in the 20s. So if anybody says, this has never been done before, there's no evidence, one of the most powerful and most rigorous studies of a meat-only diet was done, and here's the book. You can read it and you can tell your friends. So please read this. It was an invaluable resource. One of the things about this book, though, is that Stefansson and his partner, they were meat only. Meat, water, and half a cup of coffee. No eggs, no dairy. I did consume eggs and dairy. So you probably want to know, what did I eat? What was I eating? So I have done my list of foods in order of importance. So that's what I'm going to give you, is that list of foods. Number 1. Beef of all kinds. Ribeye was my favorite, but it was the most expensive. Second was T-bone and New York steak, a little bit less expensive, still quite tasty. Then ground beef, very economical and quick to prepare, well, fairly quick to prepare, and I could make, burgers for my husband and my son, who have never had a weight problem, don't have insulin resistance, don't have any of these issues, so they can basically eat what they enjoy, and so I could make hamburger patties, and then they could take those and do whatever they wanted with them. Second, eggs. preferably local from friends. So if I could get eggs from my friends who have chickens, that was obviously the most preferable. Other than that, at the store would be free range. And one of the things that I really looked for is you crack that egg, if that yolk is orange, you know you're getting that sunshine remanufactured by the chicken into the egg, and that's going to get you some wonderful nutrition. Chicken thighs, inexpensive, very simple, bone in, skin on. The way I would prepare them, just heat the oven to 400 degrees, put them in, an oven-safe glass dish, season them with salt and pepper, some poultry seasoning. I would butter the dish first to make cleanup easy, put them in the oven for 45 minutes, and then the last 5 minutes, increase the temperature to 450 degrees to crisp the skin. Worked really, really well. Tasty for me. One of the great things about that chicken recipe is that you can make a lot at a time. I would make 8 thighs at a time and then enough for everybody to eat and some leftovers. Pork chops and bacon. Now, bacon, not every day. Pork chops, not every day. And one of the most important things about the pork chops, looking for high quality, I generally liked to get Beeler's pork chops. One of the things that I discovered is that the fat of pork from animals who live out in the sunshine, that lard is a very, very high source of vitamin D, but they need to be living out in the sunshine. And so I was choosing Beeler's pork chops whenever I could. And bacon. Cheese. Quality counts. One of the downfalls I had with cheese is that if I chose like a sliced cheese for convenience, very often if I bought like an inexpensive mass market cheese that was already pre-sliced, this is when I started to have like cravings afterward and feel like I need another piece, I need another piece. So I think something was going on with that. I'm not sure what's going on in the preparation of those sliced cheeses. When I switched to very high quality, so I started going to Nature's Whole Food Market here in town. Not Whole Foods, it's just a family-owned store. They had some raw cheeses and local cheeses. Spent a little bit more money, but I found that those cheeses were satisfying and they didn't make me keep eating more and more. All right, so let's go a little bit off of the carnivore path and go into dairy, because I did eat some dairy. Deal breaker, I love my morning coffee, so I had organic heavy cream in my coffee every morning. I also had liquid stevia in my coffee every morning, and this has been, I am in recovery from sugar addiction. I believe that it's real. My first step on my journey to overcoming overweight and obesity was eliminating sugar, and at that time I discovered liquid stevia, my favorite sweet leaf sweet drops, and these are English toffee flavored. I suppose if I was going to go super ultra carnivore, super ultra clean, I would give up anything sweet, but this is working. And so I'm just going to keep doing what's working. And so this is the liquid stevia. It's much less expensive when I get it on Amazon. A single bottle locally is like $14, which in a way is good because, it makes me kind of be like careful that I don't start using too much. So that's the only sweetener I use, but I do use liquid stevia. And of course, that comes from the leaf of the stevia plant. So I guess that's a plant material. More plant confessions. I also drink a tablespoon of Bragg's apple cider vinegar and a tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice in at least 8 ounces of water each morning. Most mornings, I should say. When I don't drink it, I get cravings in the afternoon. Why is that? I believe that I think that the reason that is working, the Bragg's and the lemon juice, I think it has something to do with digestion. What I believe is that drinking that, taking that in, helps me to digest the food, helps me get the nutrition from the food, and helps me get satisfied. I think, that's my theory, as to why it works. There is evidence that apple cider vinegar does help with glucose metabolism. I'm not taking in much glucose. I've been carnivore, but I do believe that it's helping with my digestion, and that's why I keep using it. I also tried taking out the lemon juice, because certainly you could make a very good argument is, well, if she's having a tablespoon of lemon juice every morning, can she really be carnivore or animal-based or meat-based? You can definitely make that argument. Same argument with the apple cider vinegar. When I've taken out the lemon juice, I still feel satisfied, but when I don't have the ACV, the cravings come back in the afternoon. Go figure. Speaking of cravings, let's talk about some of my experiences. I believe that the number one reason that carnivore has worked for me, and I'm back in a zero. Not that like, being a zero matters. I'm only 5'1", so that's kind of like one would expect me to be in a very small size. But I do want to demonstrate that a lot of people are coming to this for weight loss and fat loss, and I do want to demonstrate that that is possible. I didn't lose a lot of weight, maybe 3 pounds, but I lost 2 inches off of my waist. So take that for what it's worth. I think that that means that I'm losing fat and I am maintaining lean tissue, lean muscle, but back in to the smallest clothes in my closet. And that was pretty much what I wanted. One of the things about eating meat is that you have to think about what is the impact that I'm having on the planet. And I really do think about, okay, I'm consuming animals. What can I do in other areas of my life to be, to be a good member of the planet and not overconsume? And one of the things is that not to be, buying so much clothing, continuing to wear my clothes until they wear out, wearing my shoes, going for quality in the things that I buy and consume. But most of all, I think that what has changed since I went carnivore is my mood. I have this, I may have mentioned that I've gone back to church. I'm singing in the choir again. I seem to be less afraid of other people. I really seem to be able to get along with my fellow man and woman a little bit better. And perhaps this is the most powerful thing about finding this way of eating that gets me satisfied, puts me in a good mood, helps me to get good sleep, and just makes me, I feel like a sense of goodness, of the ability to be a good person. My work has gone really well. As an actor who's clearly not famous, like so many people who love to act and who love the theater and the performing arts, very often we have our standard day jobs, which, give us the money so that we can go and do the things that we love. And I'm happier at my day job, just better focus. I just feel so much better. So those are the benefits of carnivore. Drawbacks of carnivore: dealing with digestive issues. If I had too much fat, my digestion would be quote unquote too fast. If I had too much lean, my digestion would be too slow. So that's probably the biggest thing. I'm trying to think if I had any headaches at the beginning. The thing is that I've been ketogenic for so long. I went keto back in 2008. I wrote Sugar Freedom in 2013, and my book Sugar Freedom, and that's where the name of this channel comes from, is more of a low sugar ketogenic approach. It's not a carnivore approach, so this might be the next step. One thing that I will say is that going through a journey of first eliminating sugar and then going ketogenic and then going carnivore made this transition pretty smooth. I didn't have like the keto flu that you'll sometimes learn about. If you are coming from a conventional diet and you decide to try this, not a recommendation, just talking about my experience, what has helped in those transitions would be bone broth, some sodium, the Bragg's ACV, and a little bit of salt. A lot of times what we see is this flushing effect. Sodium and electrolytes go low, and this is where sometimes the headache and the nausea may come from. Nausea, definitely something that will happen. Really high in fat for me and lower in lean, sometimes I would see nausea come on. So yeah, there were some drawbacks, but in general, I kind of found my way and I found a balance. And let me give you an example. So kind of starting the day with my coffee with heavy cream and my liquid stevia. For breakfast, a lot of times a couple of eggs and maybe a portion of beef, whether it was ribeye or New York or beef liver, good old beef liver, grass-fed. That's worked really well for me. Lunch, a larger serving of either meat with cheese or meat maybe with more eggs, and then just simply not hungry for dinner. I mean, one of the things about going carnivore for me has been just I'm hungry for 2 meals a day and that's it. And literally complete satisfaction, no hunger, no cravings, no desire to eat anymore, so I simply wouldn't. How did I deal with that with my family? So I would make the protein every day, and I would shop for whatever vegetables and starches they were going to have, and then so I would handle the protein, and then if they wanted vegetables and starches, they would simply prepare them themselves. So now, for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to slowly add back some what we call low residue vegetables. I am the Sugar Freedom Woman. You can get the book. It's like an e-program from ClickBank. Price significantly reduced, only $9. I mean, it's been out for 5 years, right? And there's a lot of people writing these programs out there. So I've dropped the price to $9, which I think is fair. Used to be $19. Before that, it was $27. At any rate, going back a little bit more to Sugar Freedom to see if I can add back some low residue vegetables. I'm just going to start with, tomorrow I'm going to start with a salad, which will be local lettuce, local cucumber, if I can still get it, we're in the Sierra foothills, and heirloom tomatoes. One of the things that may be the problem that so many of us are dealing with so much hunger, even though we're eating food, is that the plants have changed. Because of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, the plants we are eating have more sugar and less iron, less protein, less zinc. So what's happened is the food has changed. It's not all our fault. The food is growing bigger, but its nutrient content is different. So what I'm going to do is go for the ugly vegetables. Don't go for the big, perfect, gorgeous vegetables and fruits. If you're going to eat fruits and vegetables, look for the ugly ones that haven't been tampered with. I really think that the way forward for those of us who are eating more of a mixed diet, if you do eat a mixed diet, is going to be looking at a way, how can we start growing our plants again without that excess carbon dioxide so that we can rebalance the sugar content, the protein content, and the nutrients in the food. I really wonder why it is that the only thing that seems to help my mood and help my cravings has been going all the way to a meat-based diet. And it may be that it's these shifts in the nutrient content of the plants that we normally eat. Finally, I want to leave you with another reason why I think this particular eating style has made me feel so wonderful. And it's the one thing that has gotten me regularly into nutritional ketosis. So I've been eating a ketogenic diet for a long time, 20 grams or less of total carbohydrate per day, but sometimes I wasn't getting into nutritional ketosis. I have the Keto Mojo, which is, it tests your blood, which I think is the most accurate way of testing what your blood ketone levels are. And on Carnivore, I am consistently in nutritional ketosis. According to Dr. Eric Westman, nutritional ketosis is right around 0.5. So if you've got that meter, 0.5 millimolar per deciliter of blood. At any rate, if you get the Keto Mojo, what you'll see is a 0.5. And I have been consistently at around 0.5, 0.6, sometimes 0.7. And so I believe that that's one of the reasons that I feel good energy, good well-being, and why I feel so good. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. I am going to be starting that experiment of adding back some low residue vegetables starting tomorrow. So I will be checking in with you on adding them back and seeing how that is going. So we're coming to the end of 2019. As we go into January of 2020, I do have that ebook, that e-program from ClickBank. The biggest time of year is going to be starting on January 1st of 2020. So this is one of the reasons I'm doing this experiment, is Sugar Freedom is not carnivore. So I'm trying to see if, all right, if I do 8 weeks of carnivore, can I get that kind of metabolic flexibility that's going to allow me to go back to Sugar Freedom and still have success? So there it is. See you soon. Thank you for watching this live rehearsal of my 12-week carnivore experiment. And I just want you to have a wonderful day. And I'll see you soon back here on the Sugar Freedom channel. Bye-bye, everybody. Glasses on.